gonna go cross and then punch and cross with the opposite, keeping my hips underneath me the whole time.
Perfect.
When you talk about uniqueness in MMA, one of the first things that should come to mind is footwork. People have unique footwork that makes them stand out and excel past all the other fighters that have the average. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is a karate guy who utilizes a sideways stance and can manage timing and distance really well with blitzing. He also manages to do a really good job of understanding when to be further back, when to be up close, how to work on people's distance in a way that utilizes that sideways stance and long range. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about that blitz and how we can cover so much ground so quickly. So as I'm blitzing here, he usually does a good job of keeping his hips back and his body weight forwards. By doing that, I can move forwards really well and push off of my legs, which are bent, okay? So if your legs aren't bent, you're not doing anything, okay? So you gotta keep those legs bent. And what he does is he pushes off, his opposite foot punches at the same time. So he's going like this, boom, boom. And he goes drive with his opposite leg, okay? So he goes opposite hand, opposite leg for his first type of blitz. He's like this, he goes boom, boom. And he's moving in and towards his target, boom, and then he drives like this, boom. And by keeping his hips underneath him, he shifts his body weight a little bit further forwards and he pushes off of his back leg. Now he can do this so seamlessly that you have no idea he's doing it until he's punched you in the mouth, and trust me, I know this.
Oh. Good job of staying right there. I mean, what am I supposed to do about that?
He's one of those phenomenal athletes that can do things like punch you in the mouth without you knowing you got punched in the mouth. And the only way you can tell is by like seeing it replayed later, and you're like, ah. I see it now, but I couldn't see it then. So what he's doing is he's always bouncing and he's always loading up to get ready to strike or to back up or to move any direction you have no idea. Let's replay this one more time. I'm gonna go cross and then punch and cross with the opposite, keeping my hips underneath me the whole time, not letting me like fly forwards. I still have one foot in front, still one foot behind. I'm not like this where both my feet are behind me. I'm keeping one in front, one behind. Boom, boom, boom. Keeping these knees bent, driving myself forwards. So he comes here and he goes, and then he can back off when he wants to too. That's a cool part. Is that he has the ability, because he has one foot forwards, one foot back, he's not overcommitting. His body's not too far forwards. He's not like leaving his body behind from his feet. He has the ability to stop on a dime, redirect into a diagonal position. You can do these blitzes, which I mean, like, I can't do justice for, you know what I mean? It doesn't look as good. Do my best. The second Wonderboy movement we're gonna talk about is this step out, where he's here and he goes, step out, boom, and then he follows. And what he's doing is he's going, push off this foot, move his body in this direction. Then he's landing with this foot loaded. Then after this one's loaded, he goes strike across in the opposite direction. So I go like this, push here, boom, push here, bang. Now I can gain ground by doing the same thing and pushing here, or I can just move side to side linear, okay, moving directionally, and this all happens because he's on the ball of his toes all the time, his heels are off the ground, his knees are bent, and he's loaded, ready to spring. He's drop, drop, drop. It's so hard to do.
You good? You good?
And it takes years and years to master it, and it's still hard to see. And this isn't anything that's like news. I'm just trying to explain it as simply as I can so you can get a good idea of how you can replicate it to your standards. The last thing we're gonna talk about is a pull counter that's like the karate version of a pull counter, okay? So I'm not going like this, boom, bang. and just loading up the back foot. He's literally moving backwards. Bang. And he's landing in that same powerful stance where his feet are wide, his knees are ready to take off in a sprint. Boom. He's pulling his body back a little bit more, and then he's very snake-like as he goes like this. Boom, bang. Now sometimes you will see him go here, here, but usually there's some sort of movement that he's doing too. And that's pulling these feet back and then going like this. And driving from his hips all the time. His hips are always underneath his body. His hips are always right dead center between his legs like this. And of course there's times where they're in a different place, but they're always between my square here. So if I've got my square, my hips, as long as they're underneath, I can have good balance. It's when you start to go too far in one direction that you lose balance. So what he's doing is he's backing up, his square moves, his legs didn't change posture, his hips are still underneath him, and then he can drive to counter, okay? So he can be here, and he's got that chin tucking in, then he's firing back. So by using his arms and keeping them so far away, he can have a counterbalance. His head's back, his body's back, but his arms are so forwards, and he can still drive. So hopefully I did him some sort of justice and did a decent job of explaining a little bit how he does those blitzes. Hopefully I'm not outing him. Again, it's one of those things where it's not going to look good. Like, it took me a long time to think about how he's pushing off the opposite side whenever he's throwing. And the reason that we have trouble recreating it is also the same reason that fighters have such a hard time predicting it. Because it's hard to see those movements that he's doing, those opposite movements, because he does such a good job of being fluid on the balls of his feet, knees bent, ready to go, ready to leave. Options are bountiful. If you enjoyed this and you want to see me break down other fighters' footwork, I'll do my best. Make sure you like and turn on the notifications. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you liked it. If you don't subscribe, I will blitz in at a time you're least expecting.
There, put a little more speed on it.